my favorite jokes when it came to Red Letter Media's reviews of the Star Wars movies was in episode 3 when they were like, what, trying to imagine George Lucas, expressing like how he wanted, what he wanted to call the order to kill all the Jedi's. He's just like 666, and they're like, no, that sounds too evil. How about 66? And guys, this is not episode 66. This is episode 166, and I had no other better segue to lead us into that. But we are covering something completely different from Star Wars. I don't even think they reference the movie in this movie. But we are covering Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire, which came out in 2024 and features a couple monsters, big guys. We got your titular Godzilla, you got your titular Kong, but you got some new guys in this one, and some returning favorites. So we're going to be talking all about that and more in short order. But before we get into any of that, my name's Dakota. I am 1/4 of your hosts, and we are joined as always with
Anthony. And honestly, I think it's pretty insane that we're at 166 episodes. That really is pretty crazy. But we can't do it alone. We also have
Rich. Really excited to talk about Kong's new attire in this movie. I am jazzed up, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the best franchise. And we can't do this alone, though. We need one more person with a bad opinion on who is the king of the monsters. And that person is...
Hey guys, I'm Jen, and when you say Kong attire, I pictured Kong in like a vest. I was like, attire? And, I wasn't sure where that was going.
Nothing.
Kong in a cursed tiara.
I just woke up from a nap, guys, so feeling refreshed, but also hostile. Kind of like Godzilla when he wakes up from a nap.
When he wakes up from a nap.
Ready to consume some radiation.
I really appreciate that you brought up attire, because what this movie reminds me of was the 90s cartoon action figure lines that were tangentially related to the movies that were being released at the time, but not at all.
You're using some big T words. Tangentially, titular.
Well, let's triangulate this, So when the Batman movies were coming out in the 90s, like the Burton Batman quadrilogy, whatever you want to call it, whenever there was a new one out, they would have Batman in like 18 different costumes for like different toys that, costumes he would never wear in any of the movies and would just be completely pointless to the character of Batman to begin with. Like they'd have him in like a parka, and they would have him in like a Mr. Freeze outfit, and then they would have him. They had so many. They had like Green Ray Batman, and it was just there were so many toys that would come out around this character that had nothing to do with the movie. But you know what's amazing about this movie is that the crazy toys that they would create actually made it into the movie. We have Kong with a giant Nintendo Power Fist. We have Godzilla in like sparkly new colors. He's all pinked up, and I find that really just I don't know what the word is. It's charming. It's just like I love that. I love that they just went full camp and didn't look back.
First of all, I just need to say one thing. Listen, I needed Arctic camouflage Batman. Okay? I needed that, right? I actually was a sucker for all of those weird ones. I absolutely love them. But the only thing that I love more than them is this movie. My goodness. My goodness. I'm just gonna stop, but like I just want everyone to know if there was if you were like, I wonder if Rich is gonna like this one. Guess what, guys? I love it. It's the it's better than all the others. Like it's so good. I can't wait to talk about it.
Before we get into any of that, what the heck have we been up to, guys? I guess we'll start because we don't have a whole lot going on. Oh wait, we do. We watched a little bit of Only Murders in the Building season 3. That's actually been probably my favorite season so far of the series.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time. But I also finished book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. For the time being, because I am essentially moderating everyone else's consumption of this series, because we plan to cover it over the course of a couple podcasts at least. Everyone else is reading it, and they are all still in part 1 of book 1, and that's where they're gonna stay, Rich, until we record part 2.
Wait, what? Wait, what chapter is the end of part 1, book 1?
28.
Dude, so what am I supposed to do?
When part 2 when part 2 happens, you stop.
Nah.
All right.
No, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm not gonna listen to that.
Right, we will discuss this more. Later.
Just tell me where to stop talking about.
Okay. No. All right.
I was gonna, because I'm on chapter 26.
I know you're going fast. All right. I don't want this podcast to get derailed by Dungeon Crawler Carl. So I will say that I got my YouTube channel back, which has been very big for me. It was a very traumatic couple weeks where it was a lot of back and forth with YouTube and Google, whether or not I owned, and I was the actual owner of the Gmail and the YouTube account. And the YouTube side of things, they were pretty honest about, like, yeah, we do believe you own the account, we just can't prove it on the Google side. Like the Gmail side, they couldn't prove, and I ended up just sending them a strongly worded email, Gmail that is, and they finally.
Who gave you that idea to send a strongly worded email?
My dog.
Luna is so smart. She's almost.
I love
Luna's
her.
She's
really
like
smart.
Princess Donut, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, so I'm pleased to have that back, and I'm pleased to begin making content again. I can continue with Long Live the Timeline series, and yeah, I'm very excited about all that. But what have you guys been up to?
So yeah, like Dakota said, we are gonna be covering Dungeon Crawler Carl next week. It'll be part 1 of the book, and I just finished up part 1 today, so I'm all good to go for that one. And
If you guys are all caught up and you want to continue reading, I know I said that part 1 is a good break where we can discuss the first floor of the dungeon, but if you guys are just like itching to continue, we can cover the whole book. You can breeze through it. So it's up to you guys. We'll talk about it after the pod. But yeah, as of right now, we're covering part 1 of book 1.
Sounds good. I did see. So I did see a movie this weekend. I saw Steven Spielberg's new movie, Disclosure Day.
Oh, snap.
Steven who?
Steven Spielberg.
Are you allowed to talk about it?
Never.
Or like you're gonna go with the full story?
What information can you disclose?
I can't. It's it's up to Emily Blunt to let you know bluntly. I thought it was pretty good, and during the movie, the music sounded very familiar. I'm like, I said, I know this composer, and I looked it up, and sure enough, it was John Williams composed for this movie. I was like,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It like you can tell when it's John Williams. Like he has like a distinct sound when it comes to his scores. But I mean, it was pretty good. I liked it. It felt very much so like a Steven Spielberg movie. So, we're back.
We're back. with Spielberg and Williams, it's the longest running and most iconic creator duo in all of Hollywood. They've worked on 30 films together now. Now that Disclosure Day is here, and they've been working together for over 50 years total. And yeah, I feel like so much of Spielberg's like filmography would just not even be the same thing without Williams music. Like if you can't take the music out of E.T., you can't take the music out of Jaws, Raiders, you can't take it out of why am I blanking on Jurassic Park, you can't take it out of Schindler's List. You know, like it's so many of these movies that Williams and Spielberg worked together on are so like you can't have one without the other, and I think that that's why like their partnership is so awesome. And it's I heard a little bit of the soundtrack just from like just being online and seeing like them release a track or two, and I really like that, so that's pretty cool.
Did Williams do Land Before Time?
Ooh, I don't think so. No, I don't think so, but I can check. I don't think he did.
Or you check. Rich, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, it's I've got a fever lately. It was really bad actually, but luckily there is one cure, and it's just watching the World Cup, baby, because I got World Cup fever. Just glorious time to be alive. Basically, I will say the only thing that's not as enjoyable about this World Cup as others is that, you know, when it was like halfway across the world, you'd have games at like 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock and things like that. But
we still have those. They still got some late games.
They got late ones, but I like the so there's something special about being a teacher at a school where the kids appreciate soccer and the games are on during the morning, because you just kind of stop teaching. You're like, let's go, guys. Let's watch this random country here. Who cares? Nobody in this classroom cares.
My first year at this school, I was so confused because during class, I kept like catching kids watching soccer on their laptops, and I didn't grow up in a World Cup community. Like I wasn't watching the World Cup growing up, and it was huge in the school, like every kid. So I ended up having to plan a unit. I didn't have to, but it's the only way I could create some kind of engagement for my classes, because like World Cup fever was dominating the children. And so I created like a whole unit on the World Cup and like the ethics of like the World Cup in Qatar, and a bunch of different articles on like the way that the stadium was built and the way that they treated like women and gay people. And it was really interesting.
The ethics of kicking people while they're down.
What?
I don't know.
Dakota knows nothing about soccer.
I just imagine...
Like, do you think they kick each other?
All I can picture right now is a bunch of... like, a compilation of just Europeans on their backs holding up their knees in mock pain, as they might have gotten grazed by another person who was beside them. So...
big shots fired.
Yeah, I would like to kick them. I would like to kick those individuals.
But
no, I will say the flopping is a bit annoying, but
they're giving cards out for that. So, you know, I that is a big complaint. But if you're watching the tournament, you'll see that guys who are flopping are getting penalized for that. But in more exciting news, I did lock up my tickets for Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con.
Oh, nice.
We're going on Thursday this year. We've done this one other time. We normally like to go on Friday because... well, I used to go to like more days, but I usually get approved for the educator pass, and the educator pass is $0 on Thursday. This year, the prices have skyrocketed, and an individual ticket for Friday is $95, I believe.
Jeez.
And and Charlie's under 12. And because they don't have kid passes, they usually only have it on Sundays. It would have been basically $95 for Lauren, $95 for Charlie, and then it was going to be $180 for me to get the 4-day pass, because I don't have the option for a Friday. I just have a Thursday for $0 or a 4-day for $180. So basically, it came down to being like $300 versus 140. So we're gonna do the thing that we don't like to do, which is have to go back to work after walking around for 6 hours and stuff like that. But the I'm actually getting to the point where I feel like this might be one of my last Comic Cons, like depending on how much Charlie really wants to go next year, because the price is exorbitant, and we don't go to a lot of panels, we don't go to a lot of those things, we just move around and we're looking and we're enjoying the atmosphere. And I don't know if I want to pay $350 to enjoy the atmosphere.
That's fair. Yeah.
I wonder if you could have done, or like maybe if you could do in future years. Like Anthony, didn't you got like press passes to a Comic-Con recently, right?
They've with well, Anthony could talk a little bit about press passes, but I what I will say is that in the past we as Geek Critique used to get press passes, but we stopped being eligible for that a while ago.
Oh,
What
really?
did we do wrong?
It's not that we stopped, or it's not that we did anything wrong. It was just like the requirements went like they skyrocketed for like what you need to meet. I think it's something like, I think it was like 5 million views in a year or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
Which to some people is easy, but we don't do those numbers. So
Well,
yeah,
now that you're back,
yeah,
you gotta
I
make
guess-
those numbers happen for Rich's family.
I guess I do.
Well, I years ago I did get a press pass when I was doing a wrestling podcast. But they have tightened up a lot of the stuff, and honestly, just the prices are just super, super, super high. I don't know. I'm going to AnimeCon, yeah, in August, and it's a lot more affordable. So, and it's at the same place.
Do you know what characters you guys are gonna dress as for Comic-Con?
I do not know what my son has decided yet. I mean, he got his haircut recently to look like Dustin, kind of more, from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Because he picks the coolest guys to emulate. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Wait? What was that shade at Dustin?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if that's if you want to like the literal geeky one. You're like, hey, that's my style. Like, hey, Steve Urkel looks like a cool dude. I'm gonna play the accordion and wear my suspenders high. Like I don't know.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
Yeah. You guys will be pleased to know that Donut knows who Urkel is.
It's exciting.
Donut also knows who the
a
A
lot of
team is,
people are.
so that's great.
Yes.
Wait, I missed that reference.
There's just Donut's always like throwing out TV references. Like that's what Donut's probably best known for outside of being a cat that can talk. Anyway, let's not talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl because it's a very easy thing to just continue talking about. But we should cover the movie in hand, the movie at hand that we're trying to cover, which is the most recent MonsterVerse film. So we have officially caught up with at least the film side of the MonsterVerse movies with this latest, I should say, film, because there is going to be another one next year. I think it's called Supernova, Godzilla Kong Supernova.
Shimo supernova in the sky.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We don't know if Shimo's going to be in it. I feel like Shimo has to be in it.
I want the next one to be like like Godzilla, and then in smaller font it says Shimo Unchained.
Okay. I don't know where this is going. Guys, let's discuss the fifth MonsterVerse movie, Godzilla Kong the New Empire. We have a lot going on at the start of this movie, and it all culminates to a nice little Volkswagen advertisement somewhere about like 15-20 minutes in, where
that was absurd. That was crazy. They were wild for that.
We need to address a mistake we made in the last podcast. We kept calling this woman Irene Adler, who is a character from Sherlock. Her actual name is Eileen Andrews. very similar, but it's a different person. So Eileen Andrews picks up Gia from school, takes her to some park near the ocean, and it's like the most perfectly framed shot for a Volkswagen commercial. And that's, you could clearly tell it was blatant product placement. But story wise, we have Gia, who's been having these weird dreams. She's not paying attention in class. She's been drawing these three pyramid symbols, and somewhere in the Hollow Earth, the Monarch Outpost 1 in Hollow Earth is also picking up these weird seismic activities that somehow match up with that. So instead of, taking this to Monarch, the people who are trained to, decipher monster stuff, they take it to the crazy podcaster guy, Bernie. Because that's the guy we need leading the charge. Rich, you have something to say?
I gotta say, I love Bernie. This scene when he's doing right before he opens the door, all right, and it's one of the reasons why I immediately fell in love with this movie. It started right away. I have always wondered, watching the Avengers movies and countless superhero movies, what happens to Joe Schmo's car? What happens when it gets crushed by the Hulk, right? What does that guy do? What is he going to do? Does he call? I only have collision, all right? I don't have full coverage, all right? What happens to me, all right, if Thor's hammer falls out of the sky and crushes my car? I'm going to be down, the place that's not good, that saying, you guys know, the rowing and stuff, not good. So
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. The rowing? What?
I would be
The river Styx.
Yes, I would be up a
okay.
river, without
Okay.
it would be bad news bears. But I could get gargantuan insurance, which protects against Titan damage. And man, chef's kiss. They started off with such a small little thing, but it's a thing that no other movies ever that I can remember has ever referenced. What does the real world do when there's that kind of threat? And I'm happy to say that Bernie is a proud sponsor. He that was the sponsor of his show, much like the sponsor of our show is Voodoo Ranger Juice Force IPA.
Oh, jeez.
It's very delicious.
Yeah, we're not sponsored
Always goes
by
that
them,
smooth.
guys.
Okay.
Well, you know what? At least that was a better segue than my Order 66 joke. Yeah, we're not sponsored by Voodoo Ranger yet, but it is a juicy beer, and much like this film, there's plenty of juice in this movie. I think about Kong, tracking down a bunch of, or it's seemingly being chased by a bunch of I forget the name of the creature itself, but they're kind of like dog, I think they're called wart dogs.
They look like wart dogs.
They chase him down, and it's like, oh man, he's being cornered over here. Nope, he's trapped them. Like you, you think that you're in there with them? No, they're in them. They're in there with him. And he's ripping them apart, showering in their juice, and then realizing, wow, I have all this green goo. Why does everyone in the Hollow Earth have green goo? By the way, a lot, and it's just it's edible. Their green caustic blood is edible. But Kong doesn't like being covered in the stuff. He just showers in it for fun, and then he showers for real because he has a nice little shower waterfall, which is another little thing that I genuinely love about this movie. There's so many little things that Kong and even Godzilla do that anthropomorphize them in ways that, they don't need to speak to allow you to get into their mindset. And Kong is he's so easy to read from just his the musculature on his face and stuff and his stance. But Yeah. Well, Anthony, what are your thoughts on Godzilla? Like, where does Godzilla start this film? And what are your thoughts on like what he's up to?
Godzilla is on a rampage. Godzilla is seemingly powering up. You know, he's charging up. He's prepping for something to throw down. He knows something that's coming, and so he's prepping for that. So he goes after, I forgot the creature. He goes after some creature in Antarctica, and like just absorbs all the radiation over there. And yeah, I mean, he pretty much goes into like the MonsterVerse version of the hyperbolic time chamber,
Yeah,
and
from
just gets all of
DBZ.
the
Yeah.
yeah. So
Speaking
pretty
about
much
getting
that's his
juice,
thing.
he got juiced up by solar rays that coalesced in the Arctic. Yeah, so he defeats the monster Scylla in Rome, takes a nice nap in the Coliseum.
My favorite part.
He,
Love that part.
he curls up like a cat, you know. If I fits, I sits. And then he makes a beeline for the Arctic, kills Tiamat, just like shows up at this other thing's, house basically, and says he's kind of like the guy in Unbreakable, the villain in Unbreakable that like just shows up at those people's houses, and you're like, I like this house. I think I'm gonna take it. And he does. He takes the house. He sleeps in it for a little bit, absorbs all of the necessary energy for himself, and then he's done. He goes back to Rome after everything's said and done. But
Moments that I love from Godzilla in this movie are the nap in the Coliseum. I love that at the end he thought, wow, that was a pretty good place to nap. And then at the end of the movie returns back to his nap spot. And like those Italians were big mad. They were like, what? Like imagine that like one of your biggest tourist things and like a huge historical.
But he's such a
If
jerk
you,
too about it. Like he goes back, but
He's
like
actually, he doesn't care.
when he leaves, like
doesn't
he
care.
knocks part of like the Coliseum out. Like
He just kicks it.
he's not even careful about like his bed. Like
He couldn't care less.
no,
He
and
could not care less. I want to watch all of the Godzilla movies again and just to like do a bridge count of every bridge he completely unnecessarily destroys. I love when he's swimming and there's a bridge and he actually jumps up, kind of like people that like jump up to like tap the top of a staircase or something. He like jumps up to just hit him. He's just like, but he hates bridges. He hates them.
just like he was sandcastles. Just like he was sandcastles on the beach.
You just gotta destroy.
Look at that happy kid playing in the sand.
Gotta run over.
Gotta run over it. No, but even like when he goes back to the Coliseum at the end of the movie, if you look closely, you could see that they have a bunch of like scaffolding up in like the middle of the Coliseum because they're trying to like rebuild what he broke.
And he's just like, nap
And he
time.
comes back. I love him.
He's the best.
You can't hate on that. But yeah. What about the new threat that becomes apparent at some point, in the movie? We know that Monarch Outpost 1 is attacked by something that looks like Kong's hands, but Eileen Andrews goes, no, that's not Kong. That's something else. Oh, that's another thing. I have noticed in these movies, especially the last two, there are a lot of one-off lines that you can tell were almost used for like the trailers. Like there are lines where like people reacting to things that could very easily work in advertising. And
Listeners, we're once again at a point where Dakota's taking my ideas and saying that they're his own. I said that during the last movie. I was like, what they do a lot is they have a lot of just scenes where it's clearly for the trailer just in case.
Jen, I paused the movie and I told you that.
I think
No.
I said that with my mind.
I think you agreed with me.
We're kind of like the Iwi. Maybe we're becoming like telepathically linked, so it's hard to tell where concepts begin and end.
Dakota actually
is a
sent
fight,
me
Jen.
a
We're having a
picture of a piece of paper where he had written that idea down. So
You're the worst.
I can confirm
No, it's
that.
not true. Dakota steals my ideas.
I do sometimes, but not on purpose. But this one is actually something that I thought of.
God, I'm like Zelda Fitzgerald over here.
Oh, and but yeah, there's a bunch of lines like that Bernie especially says that are just like quirky, like one-liners, like yes, like he will be the emotive one, just so that we can get that like little zinger into the trailer or whatever. But I like Bernie. Anthony, why do you hate Bernie so much?
Ah, man, he's pretty
everything
much,
you hate about podcasters.
It's the human face of the camp level of this movie. You know?
He is. Yeah.
For me, one thing that bothered me about Bernie was that, like, at the beginning, he was very clearly recording everything that was happening, and he had, like, his little stupid narration for his documentary or whatever. And then by the end, where all of the big drama is happening, you don't see him recording anymore. And I'm like, why isn't he Bernie, why aren't you getting this? This is really important to have on film.
So
there's
a story.
He's I show speed in this movie.
Yeah, there is a story aspect to him like stopping, and it's Trapper that the one guy, he's the one
The
who
Ace Ventura guy?
Ace Ventura guy goes, what are you gonna do with that film when you get out of here? You're just gonna like show the world this untouched civilization, and like within a couple of years it's just gonna all be mown over by tourism and everything, and then he it seemingly it looks as though Bernie doesn't actually hear him, and all he hears is like you're a really brave person or something like that, you saved the world. And Bernie's like, can you say that again for the camera? I think the movie doesn't show the rest of that arc. You just kind of have to assume like, oh, well, he doesn't pick up the camera for the rest of the movie. He must realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't be filming these people's lives or whatever. So I don't know. I can see that.
Oh, like
criticism.
he wants to keep the secret of like this other branch of Iwi people
I
that
think
are still surviving.
So.
Oh, I see. Maybe the scene got cut or something.
It's probably did. I think it was in the book.
I remember that happening in the movie. I thought.
So that scene happens, but like we don't see Bernie decide like I'm gonna stop.
Oh no! Yeah, we don't. No, I just meant like head exposition. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything negative about anything here. I love Bernie. He's hilarious. I definitely jumped last weekend when I spoke about what's his name? This is Dominic, who gets eaten by the flower. Basically the Venus flytrap. Mikhail. Yeah, Mikhail, not Dominic. Yes, close enough. There's like a K sound in there. When he gets eaten by basically the Venus flytrap. I really like that. I love Ace Ventura guy. A trapper. He's such a ridiculous individual. He's such a caricature. But obviously the guy who shows the most growth in the entire movie. And this is hands down. This is not debatable, right? And he shows weakness, right? He shows kindness, right? He wins people over through acts of goodness, right? And he even, he overcomes his disability. That's a lot of growth there. And that man, that's none other than Kong. I mean, man, this guy took off to another level this movie. The power glove.
So wait, you're saying that Kong had more character development than Shimo, who was enslaved for generations, and the chains were broken, and then fought back against her oppressor. I don't actually know the gender of Shimo.
I would also like to throw into the ring Suko, the baby Kong,
Baby man.
the baby Kong that looks like Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. I would just like to.
He kind of does. Or that one kid. I don't know if you've seen the show, The Middle. It's essentially like the modern age Malcolm in the Middle. There's literally a kid that looks like him, and his like shoulders are like the same. But yeah,
Okay.
he's like Dewey.
Yeah. So Suko, the baby Kong, I think actually has a pretty strong arc as well. You know, I'm not putting down Kong's or Shimo's arc, but like the idea where like you know nothing else except subservience to Scar King your entire life. You are trained to trap Kong into. I guess they were hunting. I don't really know what they were doing at that moment, but he was trying to trick Kong into falling for this trick and being another slave of the Scar King. And for a while, even after Kong is like facing down Scar King in their like little ape lair, he is still unsure about where his allegiances lie. Like you could see like the uncertainty when he starts laughing along with the rest of the group, and I love that. It's again one of those characters that is anthropomorphized enough where like you can understand human emotions through a giant titan, a giant kaiju creature. And I actually really liked his character. Specifically, I liked the scene where Kong picks him up by his ankles and starts beating other apes with the baby Kong. Oh,
I like the scene where evil monkey dude, don't remember his name,
Scar King,
where he like is trying to make fun of Kong, and he's like, "Look at this guy, fake tooth." Ha ha. like
Yeah,
good
he's just
one,
like,
Scar King.
wow, this guy has technology beyond our understanding. Let's make fun of him.
What a loser. As someone who works with kids, you can kind of see that happening. Like you can see when kids are just like they're ready to put somebody else down, and they'll look for any reason at all, anything that they could think of that's slightly different to just roast them.
Yeah. What did you think of Suko, the baby Kong, Anthony?
Yeah, kind of like you. Like he was kind of goofy. He did come in to help Kong at some crucial times, so that did make up for his beginning, and trying to trap him.
And he ultimately freed Shimo by like destroying that little crystal that was at the end of the that little spine whip, which was a cool weapon actually. Like it was like
Yeah, it was a cool weapon.
I like the usage of bones in this movie because there's a lot of bones in this movie. One thing that I will say that I did not like about this movie, and I usually don't have this as a criticism because I usually like the human characters. I did not like the lore dump that Eileen gives to everybody when they get to the Iwi cave, where I can understand that she knows how to read the hieroglyphs of the Iwi people. I can get that. I have no issues with that. But the fact that she's able to just completely translate words that like would absolutely not be found in like on Skull Island, like she was able to know who like Shimo and Scar King were, but like there was absolutely no way that she would, like, it's not an alphabetized hieroglyphic symbol. So she's just like, it's like she's reading from a chapter book, but there's no way, there's no time for her to have actually deciphered anything, and it makes no sense how she deciphered it. So that's just, I guess it's a minor nitpick, because obviously the logic here is meant to be glossed over, and it's meant to just be exposition for the sake of the story.
Dakota, if you're looking for logic in
And
this movie, you will not find it. So don't look for it in this movie.
No, but that's what I do. That's what I do. There is, I do like the actual lore of, like the great apes came from Hollow Earth, and that's how they got to Skull Island. And I like that idea. I like that idea that there is the book makes it a lot more clear where like Scar King was enslaved and the great apes were like banished to Hollow Earth, and they kind of explain that Godzilla.
Yeah, they say that in the movie.
There's more of a story, but I don't mind any of that stuff. I like that. I like the lore about the monsters. I just don't think the leaps that we were able to like comprehend that lore made. I don't know. I didn't like that part.
I'll add to your criticism.
Please.
I thought it was just kind of weird because this is like, obviously, like there's still Iwi people, but aren't they like thousands of generations separated? Or not thousands, but like many generations separated from the Iwi people that Gia was a part of. Like they said multiple times like these like ruins are significantly older or whatever. Like they kept talking about that, but like why would the language be the same that she could interpret it? I don't know. Like language naturally changes and develops in different ways over time, and so I just think it's weird that she that they would have the exact same.
So I mean, that's actually a little bit more explainable because the Iwi people are nonverbal for the most part. They very rarely use their voice, even on Skull Island. Like they were very quiet individuals. So they aren't known for a vocal language.
So wait, I was like jumping on to like help your criticism, and you're criticizing my addition to your criticism. Is that what's happening right now?
Yeah.
That makes
Never
sense though,
defend this
because
guy.
right, like most variation in language comes from dialect, right, which is regional because of pronunciation and things like that, right? So,
But even among different generations that speak the same language, their like written communication varies.
Yes. No, I don't disagree there. And yeah, so that there would be some there would be some hiccup in trying to decipher these things, but not to Eileen Andrews. I keep wanting to say Irene Adler.
I do, me too.
But anyway, what did we think of the Scar King? Rich, thoughts on Big Bad Orangutan / Ape Dude?
singularly evil in a way that I love because he's just evil, right? There's no backstory that he got abused as a young ape, right? He's just ferocious and terrible, and he rules with an iron fist, and everyone's scared of him. I did think that it was weird that he, like, I guess you could say this about any type of villain, right? But there's so many of them. Like, there's so many of his crew that, like, I'm just surprised that, like, 7 didn't get disgruntled and just be like, I don't know, let's put up a giant rat and form a union. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just, like, surprising to me as a union member to see so many constituents there and just no fight back,
No,
so that was a little
for real. Like I felt like Kong, like on a 1v1, no weapons, would just like whip him, just nothing else added.
Yeah.
Cage match. Kong's huge. Like you put it, like the other one might have been maybe a little taller, but come on, super thin. Kong's literally
Kong's
a tank.
I like when Kong tries to help like the elderly ape up, and the slave driver just like gets in his face and starts yelling, and he's just like doing all these crazy like facial movements and just screaming in front of Kong's face, and Kong is just like he just punches him
Yes.
to death. Well, we don't know if he died, but like it looked like he probably died from that punch. It's such a funny thing. But yeah, I guess when it comes to animals and hierarchy within animals, they do have a fear and respect, like totem pole hierarchy thing that they try to maintain, through aggression. And most of these great apes probably do not have the fighting prowess that Kong required while he lived on Skull Island. Like Kong was fighting for his life every single day of his life since he was a baby. These guys probably don't have that. And Scar King, while he's a good fighter, he uses weapons, and he uses the fear of a greater monster as like a trump card that he drops onto the battlefield. Like that's his Exodia. Like he I like Rich said, I think that he's deliciously evil. He has a whole bunch of people just scared of him. He has a harem of women who all have like little baby
Little orange babies.
little orange babies, so you could tell who is his son, including the little Kong dude in this movie, Suko. He is very clearly a son of Scar King, but he goes against his father, and he has a found father by the end of this movie. He has a mentor, one from a distant land, a land called Skull Island. Kong, that's his name, Kong.
I was confused. Good to know.
It was Godzilla.
I mean, even when they had to like jumpstart Kong's heart, man, like what a great. And the way he struggles at first with the power fist, right? But then he masters it, and they're like, he's like, roar! And he just pumps his fist into the air. I mean,
that was for the trailer.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those trailer moments.
Listen.
Dakota and I were just calling out trailer moments at that point in the movie, and that was one of them.
I love this movie because it knows what it is and it doesn't care. And it's almost like, for me, like Evil Dead, like kind of type. This franchise reminds me a lot of Evil Dead in that they're not alike at all, right? But they know they're ridiculous and they don't care. But this one is great because like the CGI is so great that I'm like, this is like,
it really is.
I know it's bad and I don't care. It makes me love it more.
It's intentionally bad. That's part of it,
I don't know if like the movie, like if the film creators would be like, yeah, we made this intentionally bad.
When they add camp, you kind of have to like play or like view it on that level. Here's the thing. People can call this slop. They can call it like a bad movie or whatever. But when it's built to be like that, it almost, you have to view it with a different lens. Like when a movie is super campy on purpose, then you view it through that lens. Like, okay, this is how this world works. This is the crazy zaniness that goes on in the MonsterVerse. And I think, not to beat a dead horse, but like the opposite of that for me is something like Mandalorian and Grogu, which was not intended to be in a term slop, but I end up liking something like this more than I liked Mandalorian and Grogu.
Wow.
I did not.
Oh, we know how you.
I did not sit well with Mandalorian.
George, I'm really sorry. Mr. Filoni, I'm very sorry that you had to hear that. Not everybody on this podcast agrees with those views, Mr. Filoni. please, Mr. Favreau, forgive us. All right, please still leave us a 5-star juicy review. I know that you guys are very angry right now, and we may never get a call back from Warner Brothers, but there we are.
Warner Brothers? You mean Lucasfilm?
Oh, I didn't.
Warner Brothers did.
I'm sorry about
No,
that.
Warner Brothers.
I didn't even tell you it. Oh, I revealed the side deal. I'm so sorry.
We are not rescinding that.
Terrible.
No, Warner Brothers. They own the rights to the MonsterVerse. You're right. We might not get a call from Warner Brothers.
Wait, I have a question about the movie.
Yes.
So in the end, like, one part where I kind of lost a little respect for Shimo was where she gave Kong and Tiny Man a ride home on her back. Like, you've had years of enslavement where you were like hauling this monkey around. It kind of reminds me of like the centaurs in Harry Potter, where they're like super indignant about like letting anybody ride on their backs. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, we are not servants to humans. Like, I want to see an arc for Shimo where like she gets to that point where she's like, no, like, I'm not just gonna be your pack mule. Like, you guys have legs, you can walk.
It's not gonna
Maybe
happen.
if Baby Man was on her back, I would accept that, but there was no reason for Kong to roll up on her back like that. Like,
No.
I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more freedom.
I genuinely
Like, the chains were gone, but why are you still acting like a servant?
Maybe she likes that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she is kind of like a horse. They're just built to be ridden. You know, like the horse isn't mad that you're riding it.
That's not how the centaurs felt, though.
You're right, but this isn't a centaur. This is Shimo.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in Shimo with that. I was like, Shimo, really? You've come so far.
Shimo, no.
Shimo, no.
We do have a returning monster in this
yeah.
movie. Anthony's favorite. It's a smaller titan than Godzilla and or Kong. But Anthony, what did you think of the return of the late great Mothra?
I do like Mothra. Mothra's been around in like the Godzilla movies for a very long time. So
An OG.
yeah. An OG Godzilla ally. Yeah, like it's cool. I liked that she came in and was kind of like webbing up some of the apes with like a silk, like a
Yeah, she has like that silk
Silk spray?
yeah. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, it was cool that Mothra came in.
Rich, what do you feel about Gia being the link to Mothra?
The only thing I have a problem with was how I said as I was watching it, and I don't ask a lot of questions of these movies. I don't. But I said, so now, if she has a baby with, like, even the Iwis from there, that Iwi won't be a pure-born Skull Island Iwi. So now, like, is that enough blood magic to get the Mothra to rise?
Oh, so you're just curious about like Iwi eugenics?
You're thinking about future generations of Mothra adherents.
Yeah. Like, if this has to happen again, right? So, like, who's gonna summon Mothra?
Yeah.
What if it happens in 2 generations? Like, because it said like it had to be an Iwi from Skull Island, which to me also is weird because if an Iwi from Skull Island has to be an Iwi from Hollow Earth. 11 Zays has to be, right? Like, you would think that by watching this movie, the logic that's established is the Iwi must have, some of them, right, gone up through Skull Island, right, through the portal to Skull Island.
Correct.
So that means that the Iwis from Skull Island, that's like if an Italian guy moves to the United States and they're like, well, we really need an Italian from the United States. Like, no, he's already from Italy. Like, why did he have to go to the United States to qualify to fall under your ranking system? Like, that is the only thing that kind of bothered me. But then I saw Kong again, and I smiled.
I almost wonder if it didn't actually matter that she was from Skull Island. It was just the fulfillment of prophecy for them that someone had returned, and it was at this moment that Mothra would be utilized to stop Kong and Godzilla from fighting, so that they could face off against the greater threat. This film is very convoluted.
Maybe they have other ruins with like other instructions for future times.
They definitely
There's
don't.
like ruins
They definitely
next door
don't.
that are like, okay, so now it's someone with ancestry from Skull Island, but one of our iwi.
What I will say
And then
about
Eileen Adler or whatever is going to show up and be able to read it very specifically.
Eileen
Oh, guys,
Andrews.
there's a footnote here.
Yes, there's a being coming to Earth in a couple of years called Destoroyah. Don't know what that means, but it sounds bad.
She goes to the next room and she's like, so in the next episode, we're going to be talking about a supernova.
Anthony, you look like you have something to say.
Yeah, next film is gonna be a multiverse one, and Godzilla 1998 is gonna show up.
Oh, that would
Sick.
be terrible. But great at the same time. Terrible, but great.
Is this just like a more evil Godzilla?
1998 Godzilla is the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, where it's just like a different design, and yeah, it was interesting.
I think they mentioned that in Only Murders in the Building.
They do. They mention Matthew Broderick's time with Godzilla. Anything else? I do think that the Iwi village in Hollow Earth is not very well fleshed out, in the sense that
What, gardens and like porches?
I just can't picture what they do on a daily basis besides look at some pyramids and like
They move rocks to deal with the magnetism.
I guess. Yeah, no, we saw that. But if I guess it's kind of interesting. Like when you introduce a fictional civilization, if you can't picture how they live their lives, and you only see them in like this futuristic setting, or doing some like crazy ritual, then they don't feel very fleshed out to me. So the human side of this movie is for me the weakest of these 5 movies. But the actual monster fighting is probably up there. I think honestly, the monster fighting is great in every one of these movies, but I do love the fights and the creativity that they had with this one. Destroying the pyramids in Egypt.
Yeah,
Just absolutely obliterating Rio de Janeiro.
I kind of wanted to talk about that fight, actually.
Yeah.
So
deserved.
in the end, oh sorry, I raised my hand by accident.
Lower your hand.
So in the end of that fight, they just like rip apart Scar King, right?
They
They freeze him and then they break him up.
they shatter him.
They shatter him. So his biological material, his flesh, just goes all over the city. It goes everywhere. You see it. It goes all over the place, right? And I'm like, man, that's really gonna smell. They're gonna have to clean that up fast. And then I said to Dakota, I was like, at least it's cold.
Because of Shimo.
Shimo made it
created
cold.
that ice ray.
Literally, a second later, Godzilla heats it back up. And I
Well,
was
he's
like,
a jerk.
man, that town's gonna stink. You got dirty monkey skin just flopping around in your ocean breeze. That's gonna be vile. What a cleanup.
What were your guys' favorite fights? So we'll start with Anthony.
Probably in the beginning where with Kong, like when he first comes across the domain of the Scar King, like
Yeah.
he threw down pretty well in that one.
He did. He held his own, and it pretty much wasn't until Scar King decided, you know what, I have other tools I can use to win this fight, that he ended up taking charge of that. But what about you, Rich?
Well, I like the story of when, like, right before the fight with the sea monster guy, because just the storytelling that's told, like, on the face of Suku and Kong, I think is just unbelievable. But I think my favorite might actually be Kong versus Godzilla at the pyramids, because Kong's like, "Come on, man, I just need you to come here," and
And
Godzilla's
just
like,
trying to
"Nah, bro."
destroy this
And then
dude.
Kong's like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna have to mess a bee up," and he goes in, and that's why Kong's the best. He's just the man.
And then
I,
Mothra comes, and it's just like, hey guys, stop, stop, stop. And
yeah,
Godzilla just looks at like Godzilla looks at Mothra like, hey, how are you? It's like so gentle.
in that
That's
moment,
his
I
girl.
was just thinking, like, my Kaiju Kong, my Iwi Gia. My question for the next movie is, will Kong be alive? Nixon 5. Like, that's kind of what I thought in that moment.
Wow. Wow.
Next
Uh,
movie, Kong is on the Empire State Building during the Knicks celebration parade down the Canyon of
Oh my
Heroes.
Is
gosh.
that the first time that we've this like mentioned Knicks on this podcast? That's
Probably.
actually
Yes,
pretty surprising.
I've been holding
Um,
on to that for a while. I wrote it down on a piece of paper as evidence.
he actually is holding up a piece of paper to the camera, guys. So that is legit.
Wait, did you actually?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, I was very excited to share that. I was been waiting for an hour and 5 minutes or so to somehow insert that into the podcast.
Congratulations, you've had your moment, just like the Knicks. I liked. So my favorite fight, I wouldn't say it was the final fight, but one thing that I appreciated about the final fight was just that they took it out of what was that place? Not Middle Earth, Hollow Earth. Um, they took it out of Hollow Earth because, to be honest, like, we had spent so much time in Hollow Earth that I had kind of forgotten at that point the sheer size of the kaiju or of the titans
Yeah, you need scale
to like get the gravitas of the situation. So them bringing it back to Rio made a lot of sense, just for like somebody like me who, I was like, I started to just kind of accept that these are all like monkey dudes and lizard dudes fighting. But seeing them against skyscrapers, it's like, oh right, this is absurd.
I like that they
their
were throwing
ability,
skyscrapers at each
Yeah,
other.
but
when he
their
used his like
ability
whip thing.
What happened, Rich? I'm sorry.
to you said gravitas, and it just made me think that, like, all of their abilities to suddenly adapt to zero gravity was also fantastic. Right? Like, oh, there's no gravity now. No problem. I will adjust my fight tactics accordingly.
Well,
Right?
we've seen
And
Kong kind of do all right in that environment before. Like, remember in the last movie where he like jumps up and he's kind of like in zero gravity for a second, and then he has to like he has to like kind of rock climb. He's like bouldering.
But even Godzilla, like he goes into like almost like a swim, like maneuver,
yeah, it's
like,
great.
while he's moving around. I love these two guys. I'm so happy. I mean, I wish there was more variety when it came to these movies in terms of like following different creatures than Godzilla and Kong. But I'm happy that they've, just kind of found their rhythm and are giving the people what they want. They want these two individuals occasionally fighting it out, but then working together to defeat some greater threat. And yeah, I would say this is like top 17 MCU movies for me.
This is, like, for me, probably top 4 WrestleManias.
Wow.
Like, this is the Mega Powers. This is Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man. You have a favorite in that duo. All right, everyone does. I know you guys all do.
Oh yeah.
I know I do. Ooh, yeah. But
I actually wasn't trying to do that.
It's literally it's so I love it. I just keep you know what? Give me like just 50 minutes of Kong just going around while like Fortunate Son is playing and the sun is behind his back as he's just doing his thing, hunting. I don't care. I could watch so many more of these movies. I'm so sad we're at the end of this. It's I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do anymore.
The Monarch show is pretty good, and I will say that it's significantly more. I don't want to say it's like the Andor of Star Wars, but it's more on that end of storytelling than
So there's no Kong.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, all right. Because
Yeah,
don't promise me.
I said, I would not say that there is no Kong. But anyway, Anthony,
Is
how
Brie
does
Larson on the show?
no,
Oh,
and how does this rank among your like top 3 Ghostbusters movies?
I think it's in my top
There we go.
4
That's fair.
Ghostbusters movies.
That's fair. Not bad at all. Guys, thank you so much for listening to us here for episode 166. We have just discussed Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire to death. And next week, we're going to be covering something that I've been hoping to cover for a while, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl. It is a book that came out in 2020. It's a lit RPG series which follows a unwitting dungeon crawler picked from Seattle, thrown into a dungeon with his ex-girlfriend's talking cat, and they have to make their way all the way down to gain their freedom. That obviously, it's a multi-book series at this point. That has not happened yet. If it ever will, who knows? But yeah, I know that I am particularly excited to hear your guys' thoughts on all of these characters and where you think the story's going to go, because I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I've been telling Dakota my predictions, and he said that some of them are right.
And some of them very wrong.
But some of them are right.
Guys, talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
the Wolverine.
Why was that such a sad Wolverine?
Yeah.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.